All right, welcome back, everyone. It is LaughNgamez here. I'm back with another Starcraft 2 WCS replay cast. It's going to be a best of 5 for this one. And all right, Terran and Protoss, get your complaints out now because it's going to be a ZvZ. Regardless of the matchup, it's one I'm incredibly excited for. I think it's about the best ZvZ you can ask for. We're going to be doing another one of Serral's series from WCS. However, his opponent is a player that I haven't casted in a while, if I have ever casted him before. Spawning up in the top left-hand side of the map, it's Lambo. Lambo, the German Zerg, one of the sort of, I guess, guys to keep an eye on in StarCraft 2. He's really good, improved a lot lately. And yeah, definitely just someone to keep an eye on. And then, of course, Serral basically needs no introduction. So yeah, guys, this is actually going to be another one of those best of 5s. As it's WCS, so it's like these long series, so it's going to be a ZvZ. I honestly haven't cast a ZvZ in quite a while, or yeah, I think it's been a fair while since I've cast one. Maybe in one of the Africa Worlds or something like that. But I generally don't go out of my way to pick them for replay casts just because you guys generally like to see the races fighting the races. So I don't do too many mirror matchups in general. Now, just as far as this video goes, the comment, as you guys know, I think at this point I'm trying to make it a habit to read a comment from a previous video, every video. And if we look at ZvZ, we just got to keep an eye on the production tab. So the comment on this video is, or on one of the previous casts that I did, Jason GG comments, GG. And I don't really know what else to say to that. That was on Puck versus Jim Rising, a cast that I do. I've cast those two guys a lot. As far as this ZvZ goes, though, I mean, nothing too out of the ordinary or anything like that. And when I say nothing too out of the ordinary, literally nothing's out of the ordinary. It's just a couple lings on the way for Serral. Lambo hasn't invested in his own lings just yet, wanting to have that one extra drone for a little bit longer. Really just minute things like this. Now, we'll see how these two guys are going to play it out, because there is things like Nidus play in ZvZ. There's things like Muta play, Roach play, Ling Bane play. Personally, my favorite part of of ZvZ, it's you guys might say it's a bit chaotic. However, I am a big fan personally of just the Ling Bane fights. It's a nightmare to play. Get me wrong. If you guys ever play Zerg, ZvZ is a nightmare. As it's just Lings and Banes for days, exploding everywhere. It's very stressful. It's like trying to defuse bombs, trying to micro your Zerglings and Banelings. However, it is just so fun to watch at a high level, because these guys, they play with such a high APM. Like 300 APM is pretty par for the course for a pro gamer, and these guys surge above that a lot of the time. Now, Lambo actually having the higher APM for this game. Of course, that completely depends on players' hotkeys and stuff. And if you guys haven't figured it out by now, APM, it's not an indicator of skill. As I can speak that I mean, yeah. Actually, you know what? From personal experience, APM not an indicator of skill. I don't know. I mean, I'm someone who's actually rather slow at StarCraft 2 compared to a lot of players. I don't know. It's actually more about like EPM and whatnot. I don't know if I can pull up that tab though, as I can't quite remember the hotkey. Nope, that is definitely not it. Anyway, I'll try and remember that. But yeah, EPM basically means effective APM. And instead of just like spamming in one spot a bunch of the time, it's actually more about basically what you do with those clicks. Instead of selecting the same drone 5 times, whether you actually like issue commands and such like that. I honestly don't know how EPM is calculated or anything like that. However, it is a thing. Now, as far as this game goes, Lambo actually looking to harass Serral's hatchery a little bit. Serral made himself some roaches to defend, whereas Lambo just invested in a later Roach Warren and just a few links to start things off, whereas Serral, he's already getting his lair on the way, so slight build order differentiation here. However, as far as everything's concerned, there has basically been no damage dealt across the board, besides a ling or two that's died this game. Now, a Roach moving across for Serral could potentially be caught by those lings, but not too likely. Serral pretty on point with his unit control and everything. Lambo testing the waters, because he does have those lings, he has that link speed. It's important to note, Serral, wanting to save that gas for another purpose, canceled his Zergling speed, or never got his Ling speed. That's probably what allowed him to get the quicker lair. which is now finished up, so he can potentially throw up a tech quicker. And he's actually getting glial reconstitution, so getting that roach speed. Ling's poking the, or testing the waters for Lambo. And yeah, no, as I was saying, guys, like, APM not an indicator of skill. I'm honestly someone who's got probably very slow APM for whereabouts I'm at in Starcraft 2. It's always been the case since I've played. And even if we look at it, Serral, who's arguably the worst, or arguably the better player, pardon me, has got a lower APM than Lambo. And I mean, yeah, APM. It don't mean nothing. Let's see. There's the Nidus going up for Serral. So the first sort of cheeky play coming out in this series. Serral going to be going for some aggression versus his opponent. He's going to start dropping Niduses and trying to out-position his opponent. And this is where it could get a little rough for Lambo. He's actually already invested in a 4th base, and I think this pretty much guarantees that he's going to take damage. Now, he does scout the Nidus worm of Serral, so Lambo just needs to be all about defending this. And it's possible that he may actually be able just to shut down these Niduses as they pop out. It's going to be very tough to do, though, because just of the nature of how quick a Nidus actually finishes up. So we see Lambo investing in a spine crawler at his 3rd base. He knows a Nidus is going to be on the way somewhere, and he actually spots that Serral has thrown up one Nidus in the front, but he actually marched a lot of his roaches across the map, so it could actually just be a big direct attack. Serral has the roach speed, Lambo doesn't, so Serral able to actually out-position his opponent, and he's actually just getting on top of Lambo pretty quickly in this first match here. Drones already have to be pulled for Lambo. He does have that spine crawler to help out. However, he is going to take some losses. Lambo invested in a 4th base, however, that was canceled as he just knows it's all hands on deck trying to hold on here. However, he's just down in supply by such a drastic amount. I mean, he invested in too many roaches, or in, yeah, just not enough roaches, and Serral basically just killed Lambo because he just caught him off guard and snowballed him. That roach speed actually was a huge factor there. Lambo didn't get into position quick enough. Okay, so we're going to hop on into the next game as soon as we can. Blizzard actually adjusted the loading screen here, so I've actually haven't seen this one before. Oh, no. It doesn't remember your email anymore. Oh, no, Blizzard, why? Okay, maybe I just have to type it in once, and then it will remember. So we log back on in. I really hope that it remembers that every time. Otherwise, that's going to be a big old pain for someone like me constantly hopping in and out. Because for those of you that don't know, in order to cast older StarCraft 2 replays, you got to log in and out a bunch. Basically, log out every time you cast one of the replays. Because the game actually loads on up an older version. Now, as far as us just loading on into the next game, we're just going to go right on into it. If you guys are enjoying these casts, make sure to hit that like button. It really helps out the channel. Just shows that you guys are enjoying the videos. You guys have really been blowing it out of the water in the past couple of videos. And yeah, it would be great to keep that going. Now, yeah, so feel free to hit that like button. If you're new to the channel, feel free to subscribe as I'm casting a lot of these games. I've cast more Serral than I think I ever have in a long time, as it's just, I figure you guys seem to really be enjoying it, so I'll cast some more of his games, even though I'd usually shy away from doing it. But we'll see how this game's going to go. It's going to be Serral versus Lambo once more in a best of 5. Serral won the first map, but we'll see if Lambo's able to pull one on him, because while Serral is a god, players like Lambo definitely nip at his heels skill-wise. We take a look at that production tab and we see there's a hatchery going up on either side of the map, so no early pool shenanigans. I honestly love the early pools just because it gets the action started quicker. Maybe as a caster, I'm impatient. I'm just like, let's just get to it, just get to killing each other, right? Pool on the way for Serral. Lambo getting his a little bit later. I don't know what the difference is there. It looks like a drone or something. Overlords crossing in the night. Nothing too crazy so far. Just a good old ZvZ going on. Pools going up on either side. Yeah, nothing out of the ordinary there. Now, while we're just getting on into this, if you guys are waiting for something to happen in this ZvZ, like you sometimes do, Not going to fast forward or anything just because ZvZs can be pretty quick in nature anyway. You don't want to fast forward and then miss the game because it's over because of one banling or something like that. So, yeah, we'll just wait for things to heat up a little bit. There's always this little bit of dead time at the start of a StarCraft 2 match, unless it's something like a proxy or whatever. As far as this one goes, though, nothing of the sort. Actually, a very, very quick lair from Lambo, skipping Zergling speed. Going to be getting a lair out already. This is actually insane for Lambo. I don't know what he's going to do with this. Like, what's he going to do with a lair already? He's getting up an extra gas. What? What is this? This is 23 drones. Is it? This has to be for, like, a Nidus or something, right? Because there's no way it's Mutas. This is weird from Lambo. He's getting an Evo chamber. Serral starts his lair already, though, too. I just know nothing about ZvZ lairs coming up on either front of the way. Like, it's not crazy like fireworks or anything, but a lair this early for Lambo is a big deal. It has to be for, like, a Nidus or something. He's banking up gas already. Now, we see a Roach Warren is on the way for Serral, though. So both these guys taking this very seriously. Look at this, though. It's actually just such an early Spire for Lambo. Oh, my God. You are a madman, Lambo. The Spire is already on the way. Okay, so the clock starts now for this game before it gets really weird because this is such an early Spire. Serral, though, on the other hand, he's gone for such an early Roach Warren. He's throwing up 2 more of his gases, though. Okay, Serral's not going for his own Spire, I don't think, because he did start his +1. This is still crazy, though. The fact that we're already seeing a Spire on the way for Lambo, like, this is so early. I said this can't be a Spire. That's because Lambo had, like, 20 drones when he started up that lair. That was just insane. No, he's just going for a hard 2-base Muta play. His Spire is going to be done in about 20 seconds. He's going to mine as much gas as he can before that. Probably afford, like, 8 Mutas or something, and it's actually such a gamble going down from Lambo because Serral, if he had gone for, like, any base Ling aggression or something like that, you would probably just die, I imagine. So a big gamble here for Lambo, and it's definitely going to pay off. 6 Mutas are already on the way, so this has effectively already worked for Lambo. Whether this is going to be enough is a different question, though. Serral finally gets an Overseer in here. It's probably just going to get picked off right out the gate from these Mutas, though the Queen's working away on it already. Seeing as how this has been scouted, Serral, he's reacting immediately by throwing up a Nidus. He's just going to try and out-position the Mutas already. And this is a very valid strategy for dealing with Mutas, just counterattacking. Killing your opponent off as quick as you can. Overseer gets picked off. We'll see if Lambo's able to pick off all the Overlords. He just flew past that one. I think he actually missed it. So that is a big deal. The fact that Serral's going to have this Overlord in position to call in a potential Nidus. Looks like Lambo has actually found it, though. So he might want to turn that Muta away and get to work on it. There are Queens in position, and I think Lambo might have just seen the Nidus. Yes, he did. So he knows what's going to be coming his way. Muta's working on this Overlord to the north here. However, there's one towards Lambo's, like, potential 4th base that's actually been spotted. So Serral going to be going for a Nidus play right now. There's 4 or 5 Queens that are going to be popping out here, and I don't know if this is actually going to be enough for Lambo to stop at the attack. He's got 10 Mutas going to be going up against 5 Queens that are going to have transfused. We're suddenly seeing 4 Spore Crawlers or Spine Crawlers on the way, even a 5th on the way for Lambo. Is he going to be able to hold on is the question. Looks like Muta's picked off a Roach or 2. Currently it's 12 Mutas versus 5 Queens. Another Nidus getting called on in. Looks like Lambo going to try and pick off this Nidus. He's suddenly on the defensive, though, despite having this higher mobility tech. 5 Spine Crawlers is a lot at the top of this ramp, though. That is a massive deal. We'll see if Serral's able to crash on in and make anything happen. Is he going to go up this ramp? No, he can't because the Mutas are there. Serral able to pick off one of the Mutas, so every unit matters in a situation like this. We're seeing a Spore Crawler get started. It looks like that's back at home for Serral or something. Yeah, he's just droning up behind this. So Serral maybe realizing he's not going to kill Lambo. Then at the same time, though, he's going to be starting Spore Crawlers. Lambo has gone up to about How many mutas does he have? 16. That is enough to start volleying down the queens almost. There we go. He's starting to work on them. So much transfuse is being burned, but he does pick off that one queen. And suddenly, queens don't scale very well versus mass muta when there's just a few of the queens. They didn't have enough transfuse, so it looks like Lambo able to start sending Serral back. He cleans up that one Nidus Worm, and now he's going to be moving across the map with all of his mutas. He's going to be coming in with a vengeance. We'll see if Serral's able to stand against this many mutas. Serral has invested in a Spore Crawler at pretty much every base, it would seem, but this is a lot of mutas, and I mean, the mutas, they can potentially, if they just kill off the 1 or 2 Spore Crawlers there, they can potentially just kill off his opponent. Looks like Lambo is going to start focusing down this Nidus network. No transfuse has gone into it, so he gets it. That's a very nice move for him, and the fact that the Nidus network goes down cancels the offensive Nidus. This is actually huge for Lambo, starting to work away on whatever he can. These mutas cutting Serral into pieces. Not a good situation for a Zerg, being worked away on by a ton of mutas when your bases are split up. The third base of Serral under fire. 10 drones go down to these mutas, and the queens are stepping out. They might have stepped out a little bit too far. We're going to need to see a ton of transfuse, but I think Lambo might have just done it, taking Serral down in this game. Yeah, GG Lambo, able to tie the series up just like that. And this is the moment of truth. Did Blizzard make life a little harder for caster LaughNgamez, as he might have to sign on in again, but from now on start typing his email every single time? Because I don't think I had to do that before. Okay, there we go. It remembered it. Just had to do it once. But no, as usual, we are just going to jump on into that. Awesome to have a close ZvZ like this. I mean, that game is exciting, whether you're a Zerg player or not. Fun to watch all around. Now, we're going to load on into the next game, which is going to be on the map Port Alexander. And we'll see how this ZvZ is going to go. That last one was fantastic. Now, here we go. Loading on in. Lambo and Serral are both such great players. Do. Port Alexander is the map. It is the best of 5. It's tied 1-1. And we're just going to go on into it. And by that, I mean we're going to wait for something. Do we see an early pool? That's always the question as a caster. Like, what's going to go on here? When do we start seeing things that attack come out? ZvZ, definitely not people's favorite matchup, but when it comes, it's kind of funny if you think about it. Like, honestly, talking as someone who watches and plays a fair bit of Starcraft 2, honestly, like, lower tier ZvZ, it's not great. I'm not gonna lie, I don't want to watch like two, say, players who are maybe like top 32 or something of WCS. I don't want to see him play a ZvZ. It's not going to be great. ZvZs from guys like Serral and Lambo, though, they are just insanely good because they play at such a high level. It's not ZvZ. It's like Serral and Lambo playing Zerg versus each other. It's a completely different matchup in a sense. Just like how there's kind of like Korean ZvZ and European ZvZ. European ZvZ, in some people's opinion, is a lot better. Korean ZvZ tends to be a little bit more explosive with a lot more early pools and things like that. Although Serral kind of changed that when he's like, I'm a god and I play late game ZvZ. As that's actually something that makes guys like Serral and Lambo so good, is that they do play that later game style. As in some ZvZs, like myself, whenever I queue up as Zerg or random on the ladder, if I hit another Zerg, chances are they're going to be getting hit with a Zergling rush. These guys, though, they have all the patience in the world. And now we see Overlord going to be crossing the map for Lambo. And I say Overlord crossing the map for Lambo. I guess I should say Overlord crossing the map for Serral, because that is also true. Now, First Feeling is going to be on the way here. Two queens, speed, few drones. We'll see if speed gets canceled for either player. Lambo, with that early lair Inspire, was able to take the game. I doubt you go for something like that twice in a row. Then again, it's one of those things. You never know. As let's take a look. 2 Baneling nests on the way, 1 for each player. This could get a little spicy a little quickly here, as we could hit that kind of chaos of Lings and Banes flying across the map towards each other. And this is what I love. This is so scary of your Lambo, though, because Serral's micro is just so good, and he almost is never caught out of position. However, it's not like Serral is going to win 100% of situations like this. Let's see. Lambo some Lings out on his side of the map. Both these players micro, and Serral comes out on top. Of course, Serral's Lings are very hurt themselves, so suddenly both these guys are going on the gas. Both of them making lots of Lings, lots of, yeah, just lots of Lings really is the main story right now. We'll see. It kind of becomes that game of drone chicken in which some players will cut drones, the other will have to make a few more Lings. Right now, both players pretty darn equal on every front. So Lambo getting a bit of work done on the third base of Serral. Softening that up is a very good move, but he definitely can't engage into that queen, so going to lose a few Lings there. Serral has already invested in a few Banelings. Now, though, look at this. He actually canceled 2 gases he had started, throws up a lair, and we'll see if he goes for a Roach Warren or something like that soon. Currently, he has 1 queen that could get into the wall, but I believe you need 2 to wall this location off, if I'm not mistaken, right? Like, 1 queen. I mean, queens are pretty thick, but I don't think 1 queen is walling off this position. Lings and Bane retreating for Lambo. I say Lings and Bane because it's literally just Lings and a Bane. And these guys, they just want to try and cut as many corners as they can. You don't want to be making units when you're not using them. So they both pull off the trigger, which is a very respectful and very mature decision from both of them. You don't, like, 1 extra set of Lings can set you behind in a game. It's every little thing matters in ZvZ. Knowing when to make units as a Zerg and knowing when to make drones is a pretty darn big part of playing the race. It's literally, sometimes you'll play Zerg, you'll make a round of too many drones, and then you'll die to an attack, and you'll be like, well, shouldn't have made those drones. And I think pretty much every Zerg player feels that every now and then, in which it's like, yep, made too many drones, lost the game, that's it. And that happens a lot to this race. Now, missile attacks on the way for both players. The lair is done for Serral. Lair's about to finish up for Lambo. Scout's going down for Lambo, getting into the base of Serral. Just not seeing a ton, I suppose. Few Lings have died this game. Technically, Lambo behind by a set of Lings, but then as compensation, Serral's third is a little bit more bruised. So it's just so close like that. Now, what we're seeing so far is Serral going to be going for a Nidus. I mean, he won game number 1 off the back of a Nidus. Is it going to work this game? The +1 will be done for both players. Both players are going to have some upgrades. But look at this. Lambo once again starting a 4th base. This one is pretty similar to the previous game. Could be getting a little bit concerned here for Serral. Lambo's thinking of going for something like Roaches or Baneling drops, something like that. However, he's just got to focus on defending versus this attack. The Roaches are going to begin moving out for Serral as he's just going to march across the map. He's got that Nidus network, though. He's going to start calling in a Nidus, and he can actually just reinforce from this point. And I don't think Lambo's actually seen this. No, he hasn't. He has no idea that he's going to be getting Nidus. No idea that this big attack is going to be coming. And, oh, this could be disastrous. Look at this. Lambo gone up to a 4th base once again. He actually just taps out. Lambo just GG's. Oh, my God. He's like, yeah, it's over. There's too many Roaches coming my way. 29-20. Lambo's like, yeah, I'm going to get swarmed. And he was actually supply blocked, so that's actually probably why he GG'd. Oh my God, this is a pro gamer on tilt. And meanwhile, there's a Nidus going up in the main base. Lambo's like, yep, I'm toast. He was too greedy, guys. He made an extra round of drones too many. He started up a 4th base. And really, to add insult to injury, he was making 7 overlords at a time. And guys, it's okay to give pro gamers a little bit of heck sometimes. I know Lambo makes fun of a laser. I'm pretty sure Lambo makes fun of a laser for making like 7 overlords at the same time. And now we've seen Lambo do it. It's the thing that all Zerg players and all StarCraft 2 players are guilty. It's like, if I build more, maybe they'll build quicker. that's not really the case. But GG. Serral, I mean, if Lambo hadn't GG'd there, the game probably would have gone on an extra minute, and then it would have been like, nope, you are definitely dead. Gonna log on in once more before we load on into the next map, which is gonna be New Repugnancy. And away we go. We are off to the races. It's gonna be game number 4 between these guys. A great ZvZ. I mean, you gotta cast a ZvZ. You gotta cast all the matchups. You can't just hide away from them as a caster. And even you guys as a viewer shouldn't. So if you are enjoying this cast, regardless of the fact that it is a ZvZ, which... It's not even that it's ZvZ, it's the fact that it's a mirror matchup, which a lot of players are like, oh, I'm a Protoss, I don't like watching Zerg and Terran. Well, it's still Starcraft. It's still good fun. I think it's a good idea to keep an eye on those other matchups to see what you maybe might like or whatever. Personally, I think playing all 3 races, even just dabbling a little bit, is really important. As a StarCraft 2 player, it helps you in the other matchups and stuff. ZvZ, though, definitely crazy to watch. And sometimes can be a little rough for players. But no, yeah, that was just a classic textbook mark of Serral, I guess, going for a precise build and Lambo not stopping it. I think if you're going to be as greedy as Lambo was, you need to scout more. Like, you really need to keep an eye on a Zerg like Serral. And that build was basically, he just did the same thing in that match number 3 as he did in match number 1. And then he died because of it. And that's a little rough. Because of Lambo, he plays a little bit safer. Serral wouldn't necessarily have won those 2 games, just like it was nothing. So we'll see how this one's going to go. Overlord is moving across the map, because we're just keeping an eye on this production tab. Pool timings are the biggest first one, so far in this series, nothing too crazy, just like that, which is interesting to see. I feel like these 2 guys just know their comfort zone. Lambo's maybe like, Serral, you're really good, so I'm not going to try and pull a quick one on you with Ling and Bane. They both kind of tested the waters in that previous game, but in the end, they're both like, okay, let's just play it out. And, yeah, we'll see how this is going to go. It's like, yeah, I don't know. I like the early Ling Bane. I'd like to see these guys just go ham. Go on, like, 20 drones, just make a Baneling nest, just... Don't stop throwing Banes at your opponent. Now, Ling Speed on the way for Lambo. Ling Speed should be on the way for a second for Serral. There it is. There's a whole, like, 6 seconds between the 2 of them. Make of that what you will. Serral moving across the map with his first 2 Lings right out the gate. It seems Lambo likes to skip those, just a stylistic choice. However, it's important to note that his style hasn't really been working out for him incredibly well, as just the way that he's been approaching the game. Just sometimes you get stuck in your ways as a StarCraft 2 player, and apparently that includes Lambo just being like, yeah, whatever, I don't care, I'm gonna do my own thing. And if you lose to a build like that of Serral once, I feel like you're like, okay, let's roll it off. But as a pro gamer, man, I feel like if there's a build, honestly, in this day and age of StarCraft 2, I'm definitely a lot less qualified to talk about something like this than Lambo, but I feel as if there's a build in StarCraft 2, and it just kills you if you don't know it's coming. You need to be prepared to know it's potentially coming. I think it's too big of a risk as a pro gamer most of the time, just to play like a normal game like Lambo is doing, and leave yourself vulnerable for attacks like that. Now, Lambo's coming on in with his Lings, got to be a little bit careful working away in this hatchery. Gets a nice bit of damage done to it so far. So just slight style changes, actually opening up very similar to the previous game, though. For Lambo's sake, I hope it's not just like that. A few Banelings morphing on either side now, though. Looks like Serral may be looking to put on some counter-aggression to his opponent, and it's just going to be heating up here a little bit. Lambo is morphing to Baneling, but that actually gets canceled by Serral. A nice move there. Now, we're going to need to be seeing some Lings and Banes on either side. It looks like Lambo gonna actually have to start running his drones away because Serral's got Banelings out now. One of the Banelings gets picked off, so it's not gonna be enough to pick off these drones. However, the Lings that are spilling on in here for Serral can be enough to pick off these drones. Lambo could be in a lot of trouble right now. He's got a lot more of his own Lings coming on out, though. He is losing mining time, though, which is important to note. So Serral surging ahead in the economic front, and this is actually just so many Lings and Banes here for Serral. Lambo's got to make everything he can. He's going to have a few of his own Banes finishing up just right now. Banelings getting connections for Serral, but not necessarily the best, and Lambo has a Baneling out, so it's just like playing with a stick of dynamite right now. These guys just dancing all over. Looks like some Baneling connections going off for Serral, but nothing too major so far. Lambo doing a good job avoiding getting major Bane connections. He has lost a few drones so far, though, and Serral has been droning behind this. So Lambo really needs to get back on track here. He took a fair bit of damage for a fairly small commitment for Serral. And now the question becomes, is Lambo going to try and macro his way out of this? Or is he just going to keep making Lings and Banes and try and counterattack and kill his opponent? Either way, I feel it's a little bit tough. He's kind of going middle of the road. Few drones, few Lings, few Banes on the way. It's also important to note that Lambo lost Queens as this had gone on. So he's replacing a few of those. Where he lost a Queen. Now, let's take a look here. Baneling's getting connections off. Looks like Lambo's going to try and brute force his way into Serral's base. I don't know if it's going to work this game, though. He's got Banes and Lings maybe heading towards the third. There's a chance he could kill off the third base, as that's rather exposed. But we're in this situation right now in which it's Banes versus Banes. It's like Baneling's running forward for Lambo. We'll see what he's able to get done. They're running forward. There's Queens in position, though, for Serral, doing a good job body blocking. Lambo's just running away from Serral's Banes into Serral's base. And did Serral take this seriously enough? Because he's going to have to pull his drones, it would seem. Got to try and avoid the Baneling there. The Baneling, though, does get picked off. Looks like Serral doing a good job buying himself enough time. And Banelings clean out a lot of Lambo's Lings there. So a very good spot here for Serral as he cleans up those few Banelings. Meanwhile, a bit of counter aggression getting queued on up here for Serral. Going to pick off one drone. Does he get any more? Doesn't look like it. So good reaction from Lambo. However, he's definitely in a rough spot right now. Let's take a look. What does Lambo have to do from this situation? He's trying to squeeze out a few drones here and there, but he's currently down 37 to 51 at this moment in time. Now, a few Banes and Lings just running across the map here, still just trying to get connections and whatnot. You always want to try and force an easy mistake out of your opponent. Serral just doing a good job microing his Lings, trying to pick off the injured Banes of Lambo. And we take a look. Serral keeping pressure on his opponent, has actually managed to stay ahead in drones by a huge amount. Lambo hasn't been really making any significant number of drones. He's squeezing out a few more Lings, just trying to keep pace right now, and he is down a fair bit of supply, so this is looking really good for Serral. Serral has a ton of Lings right now. He's up on supply. Looks like Lambo actually must have got some Banes. Okay, hold on. We are going to rewind that for a second, guys. That must have been some Banes. Okay, yeah, Banelings just snuck on in for Lambo. They must have morphed, so that is a great move for Lambo. Now, can he hold on as this has been moving forward here? Got to try and avoid the Banes of Serral. Serral just saying, right, you killed off some of my drones. I'm going to try and push my luck a little bit more. That being said, it could be a mistake for Serral to try and commit so hard, but look at this. He's got his own Lings out. Looks like a few more Lings for Lambo running around, maybe trying to get some good connections with some hidden Banelings. They do run right by those of Serral. Serral cancels, morphing those Banes, being like, wait, it's 3-2. That's how quick these guys are at this game right now. Looks like Lambo is being pushed back by Serral now, though. He hasn't made any more Lings. He's running a Queen forward, going to start trying to focus down some of the Banelings. You got to be so careful if you are Lambo, though, right now. Could be getting close to a snowball situation. He's had to pull his drones back once again. Going to be having a lot more Lings popping out here in just a second, even some Roaches, but he can't really afford to lose any sort of units right now, and drones have fallen. 6 drones have gone down. He's up at 45 workers, still behind Serral, though, despite these losses, but oh man, he can't afford to lose anything more. Lambo's trying to crawl his way back into this situation while Serral is trying to make everything a lot worse for Lambo. Looks like this attack will be cleaned on up after 8 total drone casualties, but we take a look, and this is just still a great spot for Serral. Look at this. No Nidus on the way this game. Instead, he's taking the 4th base, realizing how far ahead he is. The scouting all over the map has been so good. The supply, there's so many Roaches for Serral. He's actually out of Lings, so Lambo might be able to get something done with his more mobile Lings, but as far as the number game goes, this is pretty rough for Lambo. You got to be very careful if you are the Red Zerg player, partially just because the fact that Serral already has an upgrade lead He's going to be continuing that on. And yeah, okay, GG. I didn't expect to tap out that quick, but Lambo just knows that it's over just from a point of view. Like, Serral just too good. Not able to bring it back. Lambo was just really far behind there. And GG gets called. Okay, guys, so that was a quick ZvZ between these two. Just, you guys really wanted to see Serral, so it's kind of a test. It's like, how much do you guys like Serral? How much do you like ZvZ? It's been a while since I cast one of those, but no, great match between the two of them. You can't blame Lambo for tapping out in those situations, which he's really far down. And yeah, just a great game, just a great few games to cast. And if you guys enjoyed this video, make sure to press that like button, as it goes to show you liked it. Can we get 25 likes for Serral versus Lambo? That would be great to see. And if you're new to the channel, of course, press that subscribe button as I'm putting out videos as often as I can. I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.